The life you are living now is not the life you were meant to live. Every step you take, every decision you make, every breath that leaves your body is not yours. There is a hidden hand, unseen, unheard, and unknown, controlling your fate. And you have never questioned why your heart feels chained, why your dreams slip away before you can hold them, why the moments that should have been yours vanish like smoke before your eyes. Listen to me carefully, for I am Michael, the Archangel, sent not by chance, but by divine command. You think you have control, but the truth is darker, heavier, and more mysterious than you can imagine. Someone else has written the script of your existence, and as you listen now, your soul already knows this truth. The whispers you heard at night, the sudden fear without reason, the shadow that follows you even in daylight, these were not accidents. These were signals, warnings, a reminder that your life does not belong to you. Do you know why you feel like a stranger in your own story? Because you are living in the prison of another's will. And yet you continue, day after day, unaware of the chains that bind you. But the time has come to open your eyes, to see what has been hidden from you since the day you first cried into this world, the truth that no one dared to tell you, until now. There is a power that has marked your name, a shadow that has shaped your destiny, and a secret that ties your soul to a fate you never chose. And tonight I will reveal it to you. But beware, once you hear these words, you cannot return to who you were, for the truth will awaken something deep inside you, something that has been asleep for too long. Now, listen carefully, because what I am about to say is not for the faint of heart. Your life, your laughter, your tears, your victories, even your failures, have been shaped not by your choices, but by forces that you cannot see. You thought you were free, but freedom was only an illusion. Someone or something has been pulling the strings, and you, like a puppet, have danced to a rhythm you never composed. Do you not remember those times when everything was about to change for you? When joy was within your reach, when love was about to enter your arms, when success was ready to knock at your door, and yet, at the last moment, it slipped away? That was not chance. That was not coincidence. That was control. Every missed opportunity, every betrayal, every dream shattered before your eyes, all were written by an invisible hand. A hand that hides in shadows, that whispers in the ears of those around you, that twists your destiny like a thread wrapped around the fingers of a master weaver. And you, my child, you never saw it. Have you ever wondered why sometimes you feel like you are repeating the same mistakes again and again, as if your life is a circle with no escape? The same pain, the same losses, the same unanswered prayers. That cycle is not natural. That cycle is not yours. It was placed upon you like a chain around your neck, ensuring you remain bound while believing you are free. Look back into your past. Think of the moment when you almost lost your life but survived. Think of the people who entered your journey suddenly, changing everything, and then vanished without explanation. Think of the dreams you saw so clearly and the storms that destroyed them before they could be born. Do you really think all of this was an accident? Or do you feel deep inside that something has always been watching you, guiding you, controlling you? You are not wrong to feel it, because I tell you the truth. Your fate has been stolen. You are walking in shoes that were never meant to be yours, living in a house that was never built for your spirit, carrying burdens that do not belong to you. The path you are on was designed by someone else. But who and why? The answer is hidden in the silence of your nights, in the shadows that move when you close your eyes, in the sudden voices you hear when no one is around, in the way you sometimes feel watched, even in your most private moments. These are not delusions, they are signals. They are cracks in the wall of illusion that has been built around your life. And now it is time for the wall to break. But before I can reveal who holds your strings, I must take you back to the beginning, to the day you entered this world. For it was not your birth that decided your destiny. It was a secret written long before your first cry.
Child of the earth, you believe your story began the day you first opened your eyes. But I tell you this, your story began long before your first breath, long before the world even whispered your name. You were spoken into existence not by accident, but by intention. The heavens had a plan for you. Your destiny was meant to shine brighter than you can imagine. But before you could walk into it, something interfered. There are moments, even now, when your soul feels restless. You do not know why you are never satisfied, why the world feels like a place you don't belong to, why no matter how far you go, something always feels incomplete. That hunger in your spirit, that ache in your chest, is the echo of the destiny you were robbed of. Yes, robbed, because on the day of your birth, as the heavens rejoiced, another power watched, a power jealous of the light written upon your name, a power that feared what you could become if you were free. And so a hand reached into your story, invisible yet merciless. Your path was stolen, exchanged, rewritten. Think carefully. Why do you often dream of places you have never seen, of people you do not know, of battles you never fought? Those are not dreams. They are fragments of the life you were meant to live, a life that was taken from you before you could claim it. The truth is this: not every life belongs to the one who lives it. Some lives are traded in silence. Some destinies are stolen before birth. Some fates are rewritten by shadows that slip through cracks of eternity. And you are one of those souls. You carry a story that was never fully yours. Do you ever feel as though someone else's pain lives inside you? As though you are carrying wounds you cannot explain? That is because you are walking in the footsteps of another. The sorrows, the failures, the chains, they are not all yours. They were placed upon you by design. And who dared to take your fate? Who had the power to change the script written by the heavens? Listen well, for the answer is not simple. There are those who envy the chosen. There are those who strike before destiny can bloom. And there are those who walk among you, who smile in your presence, but behind their smiles hold the strings of your life. Yes, the thief of your fate is not always distant. Sometimes it is closer than you think. A shadow in your family, a spirit that attached itself to your bloodline, a vow spoken in secret generations ago, binding not only you, but those who came before you. The life you live today may be the payment for a debt you never owed. This is why at times you feel like you are carrying the weight of battles that are not yours, because you are. This is why you feel punished for sins you never committed, because the hand that controls your fate does not care about justice. It cares only about control. But hear me now. Though your fate was stolen, though your destiny was rewritten, though your life has been chained, the heavens have not forgotten you. That is why I am here. That is why you are hearing my voice. Because what was taken can be reclaimed. But first, you must face the one who has been controlling your life from the shadows. And that, child, is a truth that will shake everything you believe.
Listen, for what I reveal now is not for your ears alone. It is for your spirit. You have walked through life believing you were free, yet freedom has only been a mask. Look closely at your days, your nights, your years. Can you not see the signs, the evidence of another hand shaping your story? The proof has been before you all along. Why do you wake at certain hours of the night, as though something is calling you from the silence? Why do you feel heavy when you should feel joy? Why do the same numbers, the same patterns, the same faces appear again and again, as though the world is playing a game with you? These are not coincidences. They are the footprints of the one who manipulates your fate. When you thought you chose love, did it not betray you? When you thought you chose friendship, did it not wound you? When you thought you chose a path, did it not lead to a wall? That is because your choices were never truly yours. Invisible strings pulled you toward heartbreak, toward betrayal, toward loss. And all the while, you blamed yourself. You thought it was your weakness, your mistake, your curse. But no, my child. It was design. It was orchestration. It was control. Think of the promises that were made to you. Promises by people who swore they would never leave, who swore they would always stand with you. And yet, one by one, they vanished. Was that only human failure? Or was it a hand moving them out of your life at the exact moment you needed them most? The answer is clear. It was the shadow that writes your story. Your failures were not always failures. they were cages. Your tears were not always yours, they were chains. The heartbreak you carried was not only to break your spirit, but to ensure you would never see beyond the prison walls. For if you saw the truth, you would rebel. If you knew who controlled you, you would fight. And that is what the thief of your fate feared most, your awakening. But even chains leave marks, even shadows leave trails, and I will show you those trails so that you may see the one who has followed you all your life. The first sign, the silence that speaks. There are moments when the world grows silent around you, when even in the middle of laughter or chaos, you feel an emptiness that no one else notices. That silence is not empty. It is the pause of the one who watches you, measuring your every step, deciding what to allow and what to steal. That silence has haunted you since childhood, in your room, in your prayers, in your sleepless nights. That silence was their presence. The second sign, the repetition of pain. Why is it that your life feels like it circles the same wounds again and again? Different faces, different places, but the same heartbreak, the same betrayals, the same endings. That repetition is not natural, it is programming. The same script replayed to keep you blind, to keep you convinced that nothing can change, to keep you trapped in despair until you surrender. The third sign, the stranger in familiar faces. There are people who enter your life not by accident, but by design. Some smiled at you while carrying daggers in their hands. Some loved you while secretly draining your soul. Some stood beside you while feeding lies into your spirit. Do you not feel it, even now, the way certain faces were too close, too coincidental, too timed? They were not all sent by God. Some were placed by the one who controls your fate. The fourth sign, the shadow that follows. Have you never felt it? The presence that lingers just behind you. The shadow that seems to move when you are still. The sudden coldness when you are alone. That is not imagination. That is not fear. That is the mark of the unseen master, always near, always watching, never far from you. They never let you rest. They never let you forget that your life is not yours. And now I tell you this, the one who controls you is not a distant stranger. It is closer than you dared to believe. Sometimes it is the hand of an ancestor, binding you with vows you never made. Sometimes it is the enemy of your soul, weaving lies through generations. Sometimes it is even the spirit of one who walked beside you, whose jealousy became a curse. Yes, the thief of your fate may be tied to your own blood, your own past, your own love. And you have felt it, haven't you? That deep suspicion, that unexplainable heaviness, that sense that someone near you has always held too much power over your life. That is not madness. That is not paranoia. That is truth trying to break through. And I, Michael, tell you this. The revelation is coming. The one who has stolen your story cannot hide any longer. For when light enters, shadows are exposed. When truth
is spoken, chains begin to break. And tonight, as you hear my words, the thief of your fate trembles, because they know you are awakening. But be warned, child of light. The closer you come to truth, the stronger the resistance will become. You will feel the pull of doubt, the weight of fear, the lies of the enemy whispering louder than ever. That is how you will know you are near. Do not stop. Do not turn back. For in the next revelation, I will uncover what has been hidden all along. The face of the one who has controlled your fate.
Now, prepare yourself, for what I am about to speak may shatter everything you thought you knew. You have walked blind for too long, believing your life was yours, while another sat in silence, weaving your destiny as if it were a garment to be worn at their will. But the threads are loosening, the mask is slipping, and the face of your captor will no longer remain hidden. Have you not wondered why certain doors never opened for you, even when you gave everything you had? Why certain opportunities collapsed the very moment you reached them? Why the love you craved turned cold without reason? This was no accident. It was a design, a web spun around you with such precision that even your thoughts were not always your own. The unseen master has whispered into your mind, convincing you of lies. You are not enough. You are not worthy. You will never rise. And you believed, because the voice did not sound foreign. It sounded like your own, but it was not yours. It was theirs. The bloodline curse. The truth stretches deeper than your years. Before you were born, decisions were made, vows were spoken, sins were committed in the dark. Someone in your bloodline opened a door. They made an exchange, power for chains, wealth for sorrow, survival for slavery. And you, though innocent, were bound by the price they paid. The thief of your fate did not begin with you. It began with those who came before, and it has wrapped around your life like an unbroken chain. This is why certain struggles feel older than you are, why certain battles repeat through generations of your family, why certain tragedies are inherited like shadows. The controller of your fate did not choose you at random. You were caught in the ripple of an ancient vow. But hear me, not every enemy is a stranger. Sometimes the thief wears a face you know. Sometimes the controller hides behind love, behind friendship, behind blood. It may have been the parent who spoke curses over you without realizing their words carried power. It may have been the friend who betrayed you at the moment you needed them most. It may have even been the lover whose jealousy turned into silent chains. And sometimes it is the spirit of one who has already died, still clinging to you, unwilling to release what was never theirs. Yes, child, some of the pain in your life has not come from enemies afar, but from those closest to your heart. This is the bitterest truth, that betrayal is the sharpest knife, and it cuts deepest because it comes from hands you once trusted. Do you feel the exhaustion that never leaves, the constant weight on your spirit? That is because the thief of your fate does not only control you, they feed on you. Every tear you shed strengthens them. Every failure you suffer fuels them. Every dream you bury feeds their power. They live from your sorrow, and that is why they never allowed joy to stay in your hands for long. You have been more than a victim. You have been a source, a well they drew from, without your permission, without your knowledge. That is why you have always felt drained, empty, restless, because your life force was not entirely yours. It was shared, stolen, consumed. And now, I will tell you something that the shadows have long feared you would know. The controller of your fate has a name, a presence, a face. They are not an idea, they are real. And their hold on you has lasted only because you never dared to confront them. But the time of silence is ending. You will know them, for the signs are already around you. Look into your memories, the one whose presence always unsettled you, though you could not explain why. The one whose words always seemed to pierce you more deeply than they should. The one whose absence or presence always shifted your world in ways you could not understand. That is where you will find them. The thief hides in the ordinary, but their effect has been extraordinary. But child, hear me clearly. When truth comes, battle comes with it. For the thief of your fate will not release you easily. Once you see their face, they will fight to keep their grip. You will feel heavier than ever. You will be attacked in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your dreams. Do not fear, for though they hold your story in chains, they do not hold the key. That key belongs to heaven, and heaven has sent me to tell you, you were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. What was stolen can and will be restored. But restoration requires courage. It requires the will to face what has haunted you since birth. And that is why you are hearing these words now, because your spirit is ready, because your awakening has begun, and because the thief of your fate is trembling.
Child of light, your spirit trembles, for it knows the truth draws near. You have walked blind for years, chained by shadows, yet in your heart there has always been a whisper. Something is wrong. This is not my story. And now that whisper becomes thunder. The thief of your fate can no longer hide. Their mask must be torn away. Their power must be broken, and their name must be revealed. Look at your life. Look at the moments that broke you the most. Who stood nearest? Who spoke the words that cut deepest? Who left scars that never healed? The thief reveals themselves not in grand displays, but in the wounds they leave behind. They are the one whose absence haunted you, whose presence drained you, whose influence bent your path again and again. You know their face. You have felt their touch. You have heard their voice in your darkest hours. The one who controlled your fate was not always a stranger. No, child, they wore familiarity like a mask. They were near enough to know your weaknesses. They were close enough to strike when you least expected. They hid in love, in trust, in friendship, in blood. And because you loved, you could not see. Because you trusted, you could not question. Because you hoped, you could not escape. Understand this: the thief of your fate is not always flesh and blood. Sometimes it is a spirit wearing the memory of someone you knew. Sometimes it is a generational curse feeding on your family's story like a parasite that never dies. Sometimes it is jealousy carried by someone who smiled in your face while secretly binding you with words and intentions you never heard. And sometimes it is all of these at once. They are not stronger than heaven, but they are cunning. They do not destroy all at once. No, they bleed you slowly. They let you taste hope only to steal it. They let you see joy only to break it. They let you walk close to destiny only to block the final step. That has been their design, not to kill your body, but to crush your spirit until you believed the lie that your life was meaningless. But listen well, the moment of confrontation is coming, for once the mask is removed, you will see them as they truly are. And when you do, everything will change. Their power thrives in secrecy, but when light exposes them, their grip begins to break. That is why they tremble now, even as my voice reaches you. They know you are awakening. They know you are about to fight back. You must prepare yourself, for the battle will not be outside you first. It will be within. The thief will whisper louder. They will tell you to stop listening. They will tell you this is madness. They will tell you nothing can change. But those are the cries of desperation, for they know their time is short. Do not listen. Stand firm, for I, Michael, stand with you, and heaven itself is at your side. And now, hear this truth. The one who has stolen your fate has walked with you for longer than you realize. In your dreams, they were the shadow standing at the edge. In your fears, they were the voice saying you would fail. In your moments of despair, they were the weight pressing down on your chest. You thought these were your own weaknesses, but no, child. They were the enemy's fingerprints upon your life. And sometimes they wore the face of those you loved, the parent who cursed you without meaning to, the friend who betrayed you, the lover who left you empty. Were they all the enemy? Not entirely. But the thief used them, manipulated them, bent them, so that their actions would wound you, chain you, silence you. That is how close the thief has been. Not far, not distant, but woven into the very fabric of your story. The unmasking is not complete without battle. When you know who they are, you must face them, not in flesh alone, but in spirit. For the thief of your fate feeds on your silence. Break your silence. They feed on your despair. Break your despair. They feed on your submission. Break your submission. The chains are real, but so is your freedom, and freedom begins with truth. I tell you this, the thief of your fate has no power greater than your awakening. Once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you cannot unknow. And once you stand, they cannot keep you bowed. Their reign over your story is ending, and soon their face will be exposed fully, their power shattered completely, and their grip destroyed forever. Prepare yourself, child of destiny, for the revelation of the thief is not the end. It is the beginning of war. And in this war, you will not stand alone. The heavens stand with you. I stand with you. And the one who wrote your true story, the Almighty Himself, will see it restored. What was stolen will be reclaimed. What was broken will be rebuilt. What was silenced will sing again.
Child of eternity, the hour has come. The whispers that followed you, the shadows that bound you, the thief that wrote your steps in silence, their reign is ending. For truth has risen, and truth breaks all deception. Hear me clearly, your life was stolen, but it will not remain stolen. Your fate was bound, but it will not remain bound. Tonight, the chains break. You ask, who is it? Who has held me in their grip? Look within your memories. the one who mocked your dreams, the one who told you to stay small, the one who smiled yet carried jealousy like poison, the one whose words were knives dressed as comfort. That was their mask, that was their tool, and behind them was the thief. Yes, child, the enemy is cunning. They do not always appear as monsters. They often hide behind love, trust, even family. But their power is not their own. They are puppets of something older, darker, a spirit that feeds on destiny, that fears the rise of light, that trembles at the sound of truth. That spirit has clung to your story like a parasite, but tonight its grip is breaking. Do you feel it? The heaviness pressing upon you now. That is the thief trembling, for they know you are seeing them at last. Their silence betrays them, their shadow betrays them, their fear betrays them. They know the game is over, for once exposed, their power withers. Once named, their reign collapses. And now I name them. They are the thief of your fate, the shadow of jealousy, the spirit of bondage, the ancient curse that has walked with your bloodline. They are not stronger than heaven. They are not greater than the one who made you. They are defeated, and they know it. Now, child of destiny, lift your spirit, for the chains you could not see are snapping. The doors that never opened are unlocking. The heaviness that followed you since birth is lifting. Do you not feel it? The stirring in your chest, the fire awakening in your bones, the weight falling from your shoulders. That is freedom. That is restoration. That is heaven returning what was stolen. Your failures were not the end. Your heartbreak was not the end. Your lost years were not the end. They were the battlefield, yes, but not the grave. For what was buried in sorrow shall rise in glory. What was stolen in silence shall be returned in power. What was broken in darkness shall be rebuilt in light. Hear me now. You are not a puppet. You are not a prisoner. You are not a victim. You are a chosen one, a bearer of light, a child written into eternity's book. And your story does not end in chains. It ends in freedom. It ends in power. It ends in the fulfillment of the destiny that was always yours. The thief of your fate wanted you to believe you were weak, but weakness was never your name. They wanted you to believe you were cursed, but curse was never your inheritance. They wanted you to believe you were forgotten, but forgotten was never your truth. The heavens have never forgotten you. The Almighty has never abandoned you. And I, Michael, Prince of Heaven's armies, have been sent to remind you of what you truly are: a warrior, a survivor, a soul chosen to rise. So now I proclaim, the thief of your fate is unmasked. Their chains are broken. Their power is ended. Their grip is gone. You walk no longer as one controlled, but as one released. You walk no longer in silence, but in song. You walk no longer in bondage, but in destiny. And destiny will carry you where you were always meant to be. Do not fear the shadows, for they are fading. Do not fear the whispers, for they are silenced. Do not fear the thief, for they are defeated. Your life is yours again. Your story is yours again. Your fate is yours again. And heaven rejoices, for the lost has been restored. The stolen has been returned, and the captive has been set free. Now walk, child of eternity. Walk in the power of your true story. Walk in the light that was always yours. And remember this:
though shadows may linger, they hold no chain upon you. Though enemies may whisper, their words hold no weight upon you. For you belong to the Almighty. Your name is written in light. Your destiny is sealed in eternity. And no thief, no curse, no shadow shall ever steal it again. I am Michael. I have spoken, and so it shall be.